order and ask everyone to put their cell phones on silence. The invocation will be led by Councilmember Heck and the pledge by Councilman Solar.
Heavenly Father, we thank you for the privilege and freedom we have of being able to gather together this evening to discuss city business. We ask that you give the staff and council wisdom and clarity in their decision-making. Keep us mindful that we serve the residents of this city. We ask you to watch over the men and women who serve in our military the world over. Keep them safe in these troubling and turbulent times. We ask also for your blessing on our first responders, including our police and fire departments, our EMS personnel, along with our park rangers. Please keep the brave men and women safe in their duties to protect and care for the residents of this city. And thank you for the honor and privilege we have to serve the residents of this city. These things we ask in your name. Amen.
Roll call.
Mayor Wilson,
Here.
Vice Mayor Schroeder,
Present.
Councilmember Cross,
Here.
Councilmember Heck,
Here.
Councilmember Johnson,
Here.
Councilmember Nesser,
Present.
Councilmember Soller.
Here.
You have a quorum, Your Honor.
Thank you. As a reminder, all items on the consent agenda will be approved with one motion. If a council member wishes to remove an item for further discussion, the request must be made prior to consent agenda and be moved to new business. Do I have a motion for the consent agenda?
Your Honor,
Yes.
I move the consent agenda be approved as presented.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Roll call.
Vice Mayor Schroeder,
Yes.
Councilmember Nesser,
Yes.
Councilmember Heck,
Yes.
Councilmember Soller,
Yes.
Councilmember Johnson,
Yes.
Councilmember Cross,
Yes.
Mayor Wilson.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. Awards and presentations and proclamations. I have one here. Proclamation designating the week of September 17th through September 23rd as Constitution Week. Whereas it is the privilege and duty of American people to commemorate in the 238th anniversary of drafting of the Constitution of the United States of America with appropriate ceremonies and activities. Whereas the Constitution of the United States of America, the guardian of our liberties, represents the principles of limited government and republic dedicated to rule by law. And whereas on this day and during this week, we celebrate our great founding charter as a lasting beacon of freedom. And whereas it is fulfilling and proper to accord officially recognized to this magnificent, document and its memorial anniversary. And whereas Public Law 915 generates the issues of a proclamation each year by the President of the United States of America designating September 17th through 23rd as Constitutional Week. Now, therefore, I, Chip Wilson, by the virtual and authority vested in me as mayor of the City of Apache Junction, Arizona, do hereby proclaim the week of September 17th through the 23rd, 2025 as Constitutional Week. And Kelly McDonald will present this to you.
Our other members to come up as well.
Yes.
A few pictures, if that's okay. Thank you, Mayor Wilson, council members, and visitors. It's an honor for us to receive this proclamation. As Daughters of the American Revolution, the Apache Trail Chapter, we try to honor the Constitution, not just once a year, but all year long. And it's just such an honor for us to be able to receive this from a city that supports groups like ours. So thank you very much. We truly appreciate it.
Okay. Intergovernment updates from the council. Yes.
One brief thing. Tomorrow evening over in Gold Canyon at the Gold Canyon Golf Resort, there's a open house meeting regarding the energy power plant that they're proposing over near Florence Junction. And the time for that is from 4:30 to 6. It's kind of an open setting, just stop in and gather up information. There's not a specific presentation. It's probably just a lot of workstations that you can go through and look and see what the project's about and voice your opinion. So, thank you.
Yes.
Okay. Can we get the photos up for the Patriot?
Yes.
Next one.
Next one.
Next one.
There we are.
Thank you. Thank you. Last Thursday, September 11th, the mayor and I attended the Patriot Day at Avalon Elementary School. This has been an annual event at the school to remember those who perished during the events of 9/11 and in the years to follow. Along with the mayor and myself, Police Chief Pooley, Fire Chief Whitney, and representatives from our 2 VFWs also participated. In addition, members of the AJ Police Department, Superstition Fire and Medical, the AJ Mounted Rangers, VFW members, Avalon staff, teachers, and students, along with many local community residents, also attended the event. It was a wonderful event, reminding us of the devastation on 9/11 and the country's heroic response. Students from the school participated in the event, singing several patriotic songs. We are very grateful to our Avalon Elementary School for holding this event every year. We must never forget.
Yeah, I'll make a quick comment on that as well. It was fantastic seeing these young kids out there, first and second grade, or excuse me, kindergarten and first grade, singing some of the songs and waving the American flag. It was really, I want to say, really moving in the aspect of how involved they are. It was fantastic. Anyone else? Okay, I have one other thing what we did. We celebrated the 20th anniversary of the MGC. That building now has been involved in activities for now 20 years, and it is something that they wanted to recognize and celebrate. And I made my little speech in the aspect on it when I first walked into it. I was so excited because now we had places where we could have some meetings at, because I got basically run out of a restaurant because we didn't order enough meals. But this is something that was really unique in the aspect on it. It was something that was great. I also want to make a quick comment considering to join the Superstition Fire and Medical Station number 263 at 1645 South Idaho for a fire station open house on September 23rd from 5:30 to 7:30. Refreshments will be offered by Chief Wheatley, excuse me. And tours of the facilities, and they're going to be answering a lot of questions concerning the Proposition 494. And, you know, we definitely want to encourage people to come out and get the factual information and attend it. Okay. City Manager's report.
Thank you, Your Honor. Bryant Powell, City Manager. Wanted to add one comment to the year Parks and Recreation Night for the 20-year celebration. We were so thrilled to have so many members of the community show up that night. It was so packed, and they kept coming and coming, and it was great to see as they have embraced that facility so well, along with you and all of us. Tonight, for my presentation, I'd like to turn my time over to Apache Junction Police Chief Mike Pooley to give us an update on everything that's going on now with our police department. Chief?
All right, good evening, Mayor, members of council. Thank you for this opportunity to come stand before you and talk a little bit about the police department. And I will kick this off. First off, I know we get this question asked a lot on how our department's doing, how our officers are doing, and how the family of Officer Facio is doing. And we appreciate that question. We are moving forward, and we are moving forward together. His family is actually coming into town tomorrow, and we're going to be meeting with his wife and parents and daughter and son and doing a dinner tomorrow night with them for the Pinal County Attorney's Office. As far as our officers and our department, we're still in mourning. Obviously, it's going to take a while, but we appreciate the support of each of you and of the community. And you know, in honor of Officer Facio, we're going to continue to do good police work and provide excellent service to the community. So as far as our staffing, we get asked, how big is your police department? For those that are watching and for you, we have 95 sworn positions. Some of those positions are grant funded through for our school resource officers. Happy to report that every school, just about every school in the Apache Junction community has a school resource officer. And those schools that do not, we're currently working to get school resource officers in those as well. We also have a school resource officer dedicated to Peralta Trail Elementary, which is in Gold Canyon, but because it's part of the Apache Junction Unified School District, we support them with a school resource officer as well. We have 57 professional staff, and as far as our hiring, if you look, we've been very successful in our hiring. I know where other police departments across the country struggle to get qualified and good candidates. Here in the Apache Junction Police Department in the city, we get plenty of candidates. In fact, we have our testing process this weekend, and we have close to 50 people that are signed up to attend. And just to give you some perspective, when I got here, I remember my second week here, we had 3 people apply for about 20 plus positions, and 2 people showed up. So now to get 50 and we only have a few vacancies, we're in a very, very good place, and we're blessed. And a lot of that's because of the support we get from you, from the community, and just overall generally. So we appreciate that. This last year we hired 13 sworn officers, or just this year we've hired 13 so far, and 7 professional staff. One of the things that we always monitor is our calls for service. We look to see how busy we get, and as you can see, we are on a continuous trend upwards of calls for service. If everything continues as is, we will be projected to be about 47,000 calls for service this year, possibly hit 50,000. We're coming into our busy season with a lot of the winter visitors returning back to Apache Junction. We get an increase in calls for service as well. Nothing bad, but just more calls for service. So, with that, we continue to monitor our progress with hiring and our staffing and where we're at, and everything's been very, very good. So what we do is some of the technology we use, as all of you have seen, we have our virtual training simulator, which was approved last year and purchased. It's up and running. We've been using that quite a bit with our new officers, as well as some of other staff as well that are out on the street in a uniformed capacity. We have our drone program, which currently is being used. We have 11 drones, but some of those are just in reserve status, and we actively use about 5 to 6 drones for tactical entries, for search and rescue, for suspect searches, and it's been very, very helpful for us. Our drones are monitored with software where anytime they go up in the air, I'm notified, as well as the entire command staff, to make sure that we know why they're up and what they're being used for. Everything that's filmed is available to us to review as well. Then we have what's called our license plate readers, which is our flock cameras. This is a force multiplier. As we continue to grow as a city, you know, this technology allows us to use it as a force multiplier. We're not able to be everywhere at all times, but with these cameras, we're able to solve a lot of crime. We currently have 31 cameras throughout the city. Any entrance into the city, just about, we have these cameras that we can monitor if people come in and commit a crime, and we get a suspect description. And I'll give you some examples of that. Just in this year alone, since '25, we have a hot list, which is basically over 6,000 alerts of some type of person of interest has come into the city. That could have been a stolen license plate, which we had 224. This year so far, that we've had 199 stolen vehicles that have come into our city. And this is not unusual. If you look at across the state and the cities that have these cameras, these are very useful in helping us to identify stolen vehicles or other suspects of crimes. And we've also had 18 missing persons that have been identified through these cameras as well. Some of the success stories with these flock cameras is we had a burglary, a car dealership on Apache Trail, where the owner of the business came in one morning, and they found that their Hummer H2 that they had for sale, all the rims were taken off of the vehicle. And with these flock cameras, and some other surveillance, nearby surveillance, we were able to identify the suspect vehicle. Well, our officers were able to find that vehicle, and the suspect had actually put those stolen rims on their truck. So we were able to return those and recover those stolen vehicles, but we would not have been able to do it without flock. We also had a hit and run where a bicyclist was hit by a vehicle. The vehicle fled the scene and took off with the license plate reader, and with having access to these other license plate reader data throughout the state, we were able to identify where this vehicle was, and we were able to find him in Mesa, the suspect in Mesa, and there was damage to the front of the vehicle, just like where the person had been hit by the vehicle. They admitted to it, and we were able to take that person into custody as well. Had we not had these flock cameras or LPRs, we would have never been able to do that. Just last week, I was driving on my day off, or in the evening. I never have a day off, but in the evening, I was with my daughter, and I was driving down Brown Road coming into Apache Junction, and I saw a car fire. Well, it was actually a boat that was on fire, and I pulled over thinking someone needed help, so I was getting ready to jump out, and the person that was towing the boat was in a big Dodge Dually truck, and he jumped in his truck and took off, and the boat was completely engulfed right there at Brown and Signal Butte. So doing what a police chief does, I followed him. And I couldn't get close enough, but I saw him go right by one of our flock cameras. We were able to identify the suspect and get the plate, and found out exactly where they lived and caught them within about 10 minutes. So it was exceptional. Being able to find the person that was responsible for that. So these are some things that we really do know helps us deter crime and fight crime and identify those that are committing crimes. So when we talk about technology, it is a force multiplier, like I said. It gives our officers the ability to target certain areas and target those that are committing the most crimes in our city. One of the things that we're looking at currently is developing and creating a real-time crime center, or some people may call it a real-time operations center. Many of the police departments, Mesa Police Department has a great real-time crime center right now that we are hopefully going to model a smaller version of that, where we'll be able to monitor real-time some of these cameras that we have and identify suspects that are currently in progress to make a quicker apprehension as well. Most departments, or all police departments that have this capability, have proven these technology works, and that it works very well. Not only that it works, but it also keeps our officers safer, and they're able to do their job in a quicker and safer manner. Some of the other things that we're looking at is a drone as a first responder, which would basically be in certain types of crime, sending a drone out to these locations to get eyes on a certain location for violent crimes or possibly missing individuals. where they are able to get eyes on before our officers are able to get on scene. It provides a safer a response for our officers to be able to get real-time information as they're out there, as well as provide a quicker response time for our dispatch to be able to relay what's going on. Some of the other things that's been talked about is our 911 center and using the capabilities for our 911 center to answer calls quicker and get information out to our officers. And that is all that things that we're looking at currently. We're excited for the future of law enforcement. There is a lot of technology. We want to be respectful of it as well, but at the same time, we're looking at things that will be beneficial to the residents of Apache Junction and to our law enforcement as well. Some of the other things that we're doing is we're enhancing our training. When we look at what happened with Officer Facio, there was a lot of things that we learned that we can do better as a police department, and things that we do very well as a police department here. Some of the things that we have learned is through training. Our training has to be better, and our training has to be able to be something that we're not doing once a year and not just twice a year, but consistently doing training, whether it's defensive tactics, firearms, mental health training, anything that's out there, just to make sure that we're providing our officers with the best and most efficient training. We'll be using our virtual training simulator. We have a classroom setting that we've built out at the old Thunder Mountain Junior High at the Fire Training Center. We've partnered with them to get a space that we can build a classroom there. We've also started for our defensive tactics, our police jiu-jitsu, which is it's a better way to take people into custody, which is a safer way, and using more of a martial arts type way to detain people and to hold them and to take them into custody. Some of the other things that we talk about is our wellness, our physical fitness, and what's called a recharge room, which is going to be something that we're rolling out to our officers as well for their mental health and their physical bodies as well. So that's a very quick recap of some of the things that we're doing and where we're at currently. But overall, we appreciate the support of the City Council, the Mayor of the City Council, and of the city and of all the residents. But I'm here to answer any questions you may have.
Yes.
I don't have a question, Chief. I'll tell you what, with everything that has been brought to us over the last several years, we have people that are now applying to be police officers here. We look back a few years, that wasn't happening anywhere. Not only do people want to come to Apache Junction because this is such a wonderful place to live, but your leadership has been very instrumental in bringing things to the council, to the city, of how we can progress and attract the best officers in Arizona to be those who stand guard for our citizens here in Apache Junction. And I applaud you for that, sir.
Thank you very much. I got a great team.
Mayor,
Yes.
Chief?
Yes, sir.
I echo that. I know you said thanks to us, but it starts with leadership. You're a great leader, your team's a great team of leaders, and that makes a big difference. We talk about you in Mesa all the time, about how Apache Junction is getting people, and people are leaving Mesa to go to Apache Junction, and it all comes down to leadership. People want to work for a good leader. You're a great leader, and I'm really glad you're here. Second, I'm really excited about real time. I have the benefit working for Mesa. We have real time. We have the drones. It makes a big difference. We are solving things.
Yeah.
We just had a case Monday night, and all on tape. We were able to track it back and find out who owned the vehicle, where it went, all through Flock and real time.
Yeah.
So it is a big deal to get that in place. So I'm really happy you guys are moving forward with that. And training is the key.
Yeah.
Better trained, more professional, better police department. You guys are right on track. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Get any bigger?
Yeah, I'm not going to be able to walk out of here, guys. Can't stop.
Chief,
Yes.
thank you for all you do.
I appreciate it.
We all appreciate, so,
Thank you.
thank you.
Well, not only you, it's all of your officers and your staff and the other thing, they're doing a terrific job. I am getting a lot of compliments from people. I'll never forget the compliment that I got, and this was just a little over a year ago, was I want to thank you for the police officer, and he gave me the police officer's name, and said, I want to say thank you. Yes, he wrote me a ticket, but he talked to me and spent some time with me, and I sure appreciate it. So I never had gotten a telephone call saying thank you for a ticket, but I did that day.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. And just in closing, unless there's any other questions, you know, this is the most difficult year of my career. I've never had to deal with anything like this in all my going on 25 years. And some of my command staff has also been here for even longer, or been in law enforcement way longer than I have, and haven't had to deal with this. But the way we came through and the way we pulled together was unlike anything I'd ever seen. And I commend this community, and that's why you're right, people want to come work for this city, and people want to be part of what's going on here. And it starts with this mayor and city council, and I'm honored to be here and to be leading in this position right now. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Your Honor, that concludes my report.
Okay, current events?
No other items on my
Oh,
report.
okay. Public hearings. Presentation, discussion, and public hearing consideration of an applicant for a Class A bingo license for Desire Maxwell. Abby.
Thank you, Your Honor. This evening, we have a Class A bingo license application. We don't get these often. This was submitted by Desire Maxwell from Rancho Mirage Mobile Home Park, which is located on Baseline Avenue, just east of Tomahawk. The Class A bingo license is for recreational and social purposes only. They cannot exceed $75,000 per year in gross receipts, and they are taxed at a 2.5% of their adjusted gross receipts. The park did have a bingo license years ago, and right after COVID, through COVID and after COVID, there was just no participation, so they did not renew their license, which typically has to be done yearly with the Arizona Department of Revenue. They've decided that it's time to start to have fun, and they've got people that are interested, and so they want to move forward with that. We did receive safety inspections from the police department, the building and safety division, planning and zoning, as well as superstition fire, and all recommend for approval as the mobile home park is in compliance with safety. The decision is made for council tonight to either approve or deny this recommendation to the Arizona Department of Revenue. And Desiree is here with her accomplice, Carol Little, if you have any questions for them.
They want to say something? I guess not.
Oh, I guess Carol does.
Oh, okay.
Good evening. I'm Desire Maxwell. I'm fairly new to Apache Junction. I have to apologize for that. I've been here a little bit over a year. We moved into Rancho Mirage, and I noticed that we didn't have bingo. So I talked to a lot of the residents, and there's a lot of interest in our park. We have several people who are shut-ins that can't get out and things like that, so they're looking for more activities to do. And we'd like to bring bingo back to the ranch as we had it before.
No? Well, thank you for getting up and talking.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay. Excuse me. Okay. Any discussion from the council?
Who doesn't like bingo?
I will now open the public hearing. There's a 5-minute time limit with 1-minute warning that you will hear. Please state your name and address for the record. Anyone want to speak on this? I see no movement. So I'll now close public hearing and ask for a motion.
Your Honor,
Yes.
I move that the application for a Class A bingo license for Desire Maxwell with Rancho Mirage Mobile Home Park be recommended to the Arizona Department of Revenue for approval.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Roll call.
Councilmember Soler,
Yes.
Councilmember Nesser,
Yes.
Councilmember Cross,
Yes.
Councilmember Johnson,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Schroeder,
Yes.
Councilmember Heck,
Yes.
Mayor Wilson.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. New business. Presentation, discussion on agreement with Advanced Chemical Transport and Company. Spencer.
As we're pulling this up, I just want to highlight Spencer. He's fairly new to us and to you, maybe a management analyst in Public Works. His introduction came to us from Chandler, and we're really excited to have him here with us to be able to help us along the way as we keep our programs going and expanding over in Public Works. And tonight's presentation allows for us to get the process started with you all. It's in the budget already, but tonight is a continuation of another 2 times a year household hazardous waste event that is free to the public. And we're excited that we'll be able to present that to you, and I know Matt's trying to keep this going. Spencer, I don't know if you want to go from here.
Yeah. Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Spencer Sarger. I'm the Administrative Services Manager in the Public Works Department. Tonight, I have a presentation discussion on our household hazardous waste event. Since 2018, we've had this event 2 times a year. And since the year 2022, we've been in an intergovernmental agreement with Pinal County to receive a reimbursement up to $10,000 per event.
Matt, if you want to go to Legistar, it's in, yeah. Might be the easiest way.
Yeah, a little bit lower. Cool. One more. Yeah.
HHW events.
Perfect.
It's HHW events.
That's it. Click on it.
It's downloading.
There we go.
Perfect. So a little bit of background about this event, as I was talking about before. Since 2018, the city has held 2 household hazardous waste events each year. And since 2022, we've been in an intergovernmental agreement with Pinal County to receive a reimbursement up to $10,000 per event. And last fiscal year, the city had 710 participants, and we properly disposed of over 30 tons of waste. This is our service area for residents who are allowed to come to our event, our household hazardous waste event. So as you can see, we have City of Apache Junction as well as to the east in Pinal County. So that includes Gold Canyon, and this is the reason why Pinal County helps participate in this event as well. So we have our next event scheduled for Saturday, November 15th, 2025. This event will be held from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. Tentatively, we have our second event in March of next year. And during this event, we will accept hazardous materials from residents. So that's gas, paints, oils, pesticides. We also accept white goods, electronic waste, as well as paper shredding and tires. So our recommendation, staff recommends entering an agreement with Advanced Chemical Transport to assist in the next 4 household hazardous waste events. So 2 this fiscal year and 2 next fiscal year, utilizing a City of Tempe cooperative contract for a total lump sum not to exceed $200,000 for all 4 events. And that is the end of my presentation. Do we have any questions?
Any questions?
Nope.
questions? The
Just
only thing I can say is ends at 12 noon. Don't arrive at 12:01.
Exactly. Yeah, if you're in the line before 12, we'll accept you, but just be in line before 12.
And Spencer, timing-wise, when it'll come back to them for possible consideration?
In 2 weeks.
2 weeks, okay.
Okay, thank you. Presentation discussion on rezoning of by planning and development case number P24-114PZ. Nicholas.
Thank you, Your Honor. Nick Leftwich, Senior Planner for the Development Services Department of Apache Junction. I'll be presenting the case information for the Julian's Apartments rezoning, P24-114PZ. So tonight is just an informational item. The public hearing and vote will be on October 7th in a few weeks. So this is a request by Hermelinda Pando to rezone 282 North Palo Verde Drive with a rezoning by plan development, which is approximately 0.62 acres from RS10M, which is medium density single-family detached residential, to RM1 by plan development, which is high-density multiple-family residential. Now, for some context, this is actually one of the older developed sites within the city. The single-family home on the west side of the property was built in 1934. Following that, 2 duplexes were constructed on the property in 1950. And then the rest of the residential neighborhood was essentially developed around that. So this rezoning is requested in part in order to correct a historic zoning nonconformity. The property, because the neighborhood around it has always come in as primarily single-family residential, this property had been zoned single-family residential as well, despite being a multifamily residential property since before the city was incorporated. And because it is a legal non-conforming property, zoning-wise, that does place some restrictions in terms of what kind of improvements can be made or what kind of expansion can be made to uses. As a legal non-conforming property within zoning, there's restrictions on if they can build any further, if they can add any units. And so as part of this request, they would like to rezone this property so that it is a zoning conforming property, high density, which because it's multiple family residential already, they would need a multiple family residential zoning district. And in doing so, that will correct the zoning nonconformity and also allow them to replace that west building, Unit A, which is the home built in 1934. They would like to replace that with a fourplex, which adds a net 4 units to this property as well. And that is their development plans for this. As noted previously, the zoning around this property is primarily this medium density single family residential. There are some other non-conforming properties within the area, like there's a couple RV parks that are also zoned this medium density, even though they are high density. And we would also see some high density multiple family residential along Palo Verde Drive as well. So it's a bit of a patchwork within this area. And this kind of land use pattern is also depicted on the general plan land use map. As we see, the tannish brown shows some of the high density multiple family residential, but it is primarily surrounded by this medium density residential, putting it in kind of a unique situation, both in historic context and in its current situation. Immediately to the north, though, is a church. Shown here is a site plan. As noted, there are the existing duplexes, which are building 1 and building 2, and then they would like to replace Unit A, the building on the west side, with a fourplex. And as part of this proposal, they would like to formally develop this site. It will add a lot of improvements in terms of actually paving the site, providing striped parking, providing some amenities for their residents, and as well as just providing some site improvements, things like dumpsters, things like landscaping as well. And some of what they are proposing as well is to improve the screening along the site. They had listened to some of the neighborhood concerns that were expressed at the neighborhood meeting regarding screening, and so they are proposing an 8-foot boundary wall along the north, west, and south sides of the property. And the applicant has complied with all of their required neighborhood notification requirements. They've sent out the letters, they've held a neighborhood meeting, there's been a newspaper posting. They held their neighborhood meeting quite a while back on February 10th of this year. At that time, they had one of their tenants show up as well as one of the neighbors. And there were concerns expressed about the density because at that time they were proposing more units, and that had impact on things like parking. They also were questions about screening, as I noted. And so they took the time in between that neighborhood meeting and this presentation now in order to make some adjustments to their site plan. They reduced the density. They noted that they would provide an 8-foot screen wall in order to better mitigate the impacts to the neighbors. And so at this time, staff have only received one phone call asking questions regarding this project, and it was regarding parking, making sure that they had enough, making sure that they met our standards, which they do. And they noted that they had no objections upon receiving this explanation. So a couple weeks ago, on August 26th, the Planning and Zoning Commission voted 6-0 to recommend the approval of P24-114 PZ, subject to the conditions of approval found in the staff report. And as noted, we will have our public hearing on October 7th in a few weeks, at which time the applicant will also have a presentation to provide, but I'm here tonight if you have further questions.
Any discussion from council? Yes.
Quick question, what is the 8-foot wall going to be made of?
They have noted it would be a masonry wall, so I believe like CMU.
Okay.
Yes.
Nick, I understand there were some questions about parking. So it looked to me like they're going to have 12 parking spaces. Is that correct? Is that going to be sufficient for 8?
So they are adding the 12 parking spaces, but there's also the parking within the existing units. So what we see, each of the existing duplexes already have a carport that provides some interior parking, and then they're planning tandem parking in front.
There's a carport. Oh, sorry.
So the shading and lining of the site plan, just to provide some better explanation. So you have this kind of dashed area. That's the carport for that unit. There's the carport here, and then similarly, there's the carports on the existing duplexes. So altogether, they are providing enough parking for all of the units, including, so between their existing residences, as well as the new fourplex, and our guest parking requirement to have at least one extra guest parking spot for every 3 units.
Thank you.
The double-edged, go back.
Yes.
The double-edged rectangles, are those retentions?
Your Honor, Councilmember Johnson, if you're referring to this section, yes?
And are they existing now?
They are
those
retention
upgrades?
basins, and they are not existing at this time. So that is one of our development requirements. Whenever someone builds a new building, it triggers our engineering requirements to mitigate stormwater issues. So as part of this, they'd be providing new landscaping and providing retention basins to catch water from off the street, water that is generated from stormwater on the site, and they would capture that in those retention basins to meet all of our engineering requirements. So those would be new.
Anyone else? Okay. Thank you. Council direction to staff. Presentation, discussion, and possible direction to staff on dissolving of the Municipal Property Corporation.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'll take this one. Rob Whistler isn't able to be with us tonight, but as Zach Sakis walks up to go through the presentation, this direction to staff before you this evening is regarding the Municipal Property Corporation. We used it a lot as a city in the 90s. Some federal laws changed that made it less of a useful tool for cities in the late 90s, but we've kept it on life support for about 25 years. And so Zach, we've asked him to come and go through this presentation, and for your consideration whether or not it's tonight or in 2 weeks that you want to give us direction to staff, whether or not to keep the Municipal Property Corporation or to dissolve it. And right now I'll turn it over to Zach.
Great, thanks, Matt. Mayor, Council, Zach Sakis. I'm a bond attorney at Greenberg Traurig. Always happy to see all of you, happy to be here, and thankful. It's probably safe to put a bond attorney at the end of any city council meeting. I'll try to go through quickly. Matt provided a great overview, and kudos to staff all around. Rob's not here, so you can brag about a guy when he's not here. Working very hard, going through historical records, and really putting the pieces together to ensure mayor and council are informed and can provide direction to staff. So typically, a municipal property corporation was used historically in Arizona to finance public improvements. You needed a third-party entity so that the city could use its general contracting powers, and you'd enter into this agreement with the third-party entity, and then you could designate a special fund. This third-party entity, the Municipal Property Corporation, with respect to Apache Junction, could issue bonds, and then the city made payments to the MPC, and the MPC repaid repaid those bonds over time. You needed this because, as we've chatted about previously, cities are able to borrow with advantageous low interest rates as long as they follow certain rules under the federal tax law, and use of this third-party nonprofit entity like a municipal property corporation helped get those advantageous low rates for the city in the past. There's a variety of annual upkeep requirements that you do because the MPC is its own nonprofit entity. So you appoint board members, it files a tax return, it has annual meetings, those sorts of things. So there is an administrative burden that comes with these entities. We chatted about this already. You're able to pledge revenues and then operate under your general abilities to enter into contracts as a municipal corporation. This is, for sure we'll put the room to sleep, but this is a general graph of how these transactions worked, where you had a pledge of revenue, the MPC there at the top, which was issuing the bonds, and then repayments to bondholders. We'll move on from that one. That one, if anybody's watching at home, the kids just fell asleep when they saw that slide, for sure.
Yeah, that's real comprehensive there, too.
That's also the peak of my PowerPoint skills right there, so I don't know. I had to include it. So the city had great success using its MPC under the tax laws at the time, finance streets, municipal facilities, other improvements. And the city was not the only city doing this. In Arizona, many Arizona cities use this exact same structure to finance public improvements. The type of financing structure was blessed by the Arizona Supreme Court that said, originally in the 1960s, that said you can do these types of deals, and that was how Phoenix originally financed its civic center. And so once that structure had been approved by the Arizona Supreme Court, every other Arizona city sort of followed suit with doing the same structure. This mentioned all of the MPC's bonds are fully repaid and no longer outstanding. One of the tricks, so I've run into this question for several Arizona cities. One of the tricks that we run into is a lot of times we had a third-party trustee, and we make sure that if there was any real estate records, all the title and everything else is clear if you do decide to provide direction to staff to dissolve it. Because from time, you all may remember, we had Valley National Bank, which quickly became Bank One, which quickly became Chase. And so sometimes the records between those banks being acquired by bigger banks, they weren't lost, but they were just not executed in accordance as what maybe some, because a lot of times these are 30-year deals. So you could have a totally different staff and, in this case, gone through 2 or 3 different iterations of the bank by the time the transaction was ended. Anyway, so staff has done a great job going through those historical records, tracking things down, doing real estate searches, making sure that there's no loose ends hanging out regarding the Apache Junction Municipal Property Corporation. Now here's the main one. In 1997, federal tax law changed. The structure that I described to you before, where we needed this third-party nonprofit entity, we can achieve the same results now using a corporate trustee. The IRS and federal tax law said now using a corporate trustee that has no ownership interest or any sort of rights to any of the public improvements other than for purposes of a financing structure, you can still get the low interest rates, tax-exempt interest rates, as a city issuing bonds. And so, but again, as I mentioned, these transactions take about 30 years to pay off. So even though the laws changed in 1997, everybody still had debt outstanding that had maybe 15 to 20 years left to sort of burn off. So then I'd say starting 2015-ish, as those sort of phased out, this same question has come up in multiple Arizona cities. Do we still need this, or can we transition to using a different structure that avoids the administrative work related to a municipal property corporation? Everybody still with me so far? Any questions on what I've covered so far? Okay. So, yep, everybody began to phase out of it. Certain Arizona municipalities have decided to keep it. Phoenix, for example, still has a civic improvement corporation. They do a lot of their airport debt and water debt through that. Scottsdale has a municipal property corporation, and they just had enough outstanding, and they use it consistently to where sort of switching over never made sense for them. But other cities, for example, Apache Junction, when we did the obligations in 2022 for ease and straightforward structure, lower cost, and ease of administration, we used a corporate trustee. So this was the same revenue pledge structure I described before, but instead of using an MPC, we achieved the desired result for the city using a corporate trustee. So this is the part where staff, I don't know, Matt, if you want me to walk through this slide quickly, or if you want to. Yeah, go ahead. Okay, so in general, some cities have decided to dissolve the MPC. Their MPC, it's hard to find board members from time to time. Maybe the transactions have been light. There's the administrative and compliance burden, or they've switched to the corporate trustee structure. Some cities, and so I represent, for example, City of Chandler as well, they decide to keep their MPC just in case federal tax law ever changes back and they need it in place. And so they do one meeting a year. They have folks that are willing to serve on the board even though nothing really happens. And so they keep it around. Ultimately, it's a policy choice for council with staff's, the information and everything else they're providing to you, including this background discussion this evening. Typically, to dissolve one of these entities, the city, the municipality that helped form it, does have to agree to absorb any assets or liabilities in that dissolution process. So that's why we want to be super careful that everything, there's not some obligation hanging out there that suddenly wasn't the city's and becomes the city's. So for sure the debt is all paid off. But so that's why we're going through and making sure any sort of real estate records or anything else, should council provide direction, that all of that part is clear as well. And with that, happy to let Matt take back over or respond to any questions from Mayor and Council. Thanks for having me.
Yes.
So you just finished off saying, make sure there's no back debt. I mean, shouldn't those checks and balances been done before you brought this to us? And two, what kind of process is it to reinstate this program if the tax laws do change?
Sure. So the first question was, are there any obligations out there?
Sure, I mean, because you were just saying that we need to check, but I mean, that should have been checked already, in my opinion.
Yeah.
This is coming towards us today.
Yeah, and that has been checked. I'll defer to Matt on that one. For sure the bonds are paid off. We did UCC searches. I guess that has been checked.
Yeah.
There are no obligations. As a general part of the process, you just want to be very sure.
We've double checked and we'd like to triple check before we.
Did you triple check, man?
That's what we'll do if you all want to dissolve it. We would triple check.
Okay.
And then for reforming it, should you decide to dissolve it and then the tax laws change again? So the city would go about through the process of establishing, you'd form, again, a nonprofit corporation under Arizona law, which would include articles of an organization and bylaws, and you'd appoint board members. So there would be some work related to that, but these types of entities are formed very frequently, all the time. So not too huge of a hurdle if the tax law ever changed.
A recent example could be the CFDs the council just created a couple years ago for the growth down south. It'd be that type of process.
Okay.
It'd be easier than that.
Easier than that, yeah.
Thank you.
Yes.
So have we been filing 990s every year just zip, 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 zip.
Yep.
And we've been paying for somebody to prepare those.
Yes, that is, yes, council member, that is correct, and we do meet, and there is administrative cost, and that's why we bring this to you, because I've been on that for 25 years, and every year it's just, every citizen that you appoint there wonders what their time is worth and wondering what they're doing there, and I have a very hard time telling them why we need this when we have done several different bond finances without this tool, so.
As one of the people who served on that
Yeah.
board doing nothing, yes.
It
I
just-
can
so we're a
understand
di-
that, but I
it's
know
tough
there
because
is
residents-
expense of
yeah.
the 990. When would our final 990 be filed?
Yeah, no, my admin staff does that, and we stay up on it, but it's an expense and an effort, and also an explanation of, well, I thought we were on a board, I thought we were gonna do something, kind of a thing.
I remember
Yeah.
asking you that.
Anyone else?
Mr. Mayor, we've structured the item in a way that you could either, the council could give direction to staff tonight, or if you wanted to wait and bring it back later and wanted 2 weeks or whatever, you could also do that, but we've structured it however you.
So
would
it's
like
structured
to
for
do it.
council direction to staff if they would like to.
If they would like to give it tonight, they can.
Okay, do I have a motion for, yes?
I move that the direction of staff be drafted in ordinance and take whatever other administrative action is needed to I can't say that word. Effectuate the dissolution of the City of Apache Junction Municipal Property Corporation.
Second.
Moved and
With a
seconded, roll
triple
call.
check.
Got it.
Councilmember Soller,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Schroeder,
Yes.
Councilmember Nesser,
Yes.
Councilmember Cross,
Yes.
Councilmember Heck,
Yes.
Councilmember Johnson,
Yes.
Mayor Wilson.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Okay, thank you. All right. Call to public. I would like to remind everyone the call to public is a courtesy and not required by law. It's a time for the public to express requests, communications, comments, and suggestion. Requests to speak forms must have been completed and handed to the city clerk before the end of the city manager's report. All issues presented in a professional manner without personal attacks. Underneath the open meeting law, council cannot engage in a discussion on issues presented, but may respond to criticism, may direct staff to follow up with the speaker directly, and/or place the matter on a future agenda for council discussion. There's a 3-minute time limit for each speaker. And I've got a few of them here. First one is Gail Evans.
Gail Evans.
Welcome back.
Hi.
Howdy, council, staff, and friends. In case you forgot, I am Gail Evans, and I'm temporarily from Gold Canyon. I am the new chair of the Apache Junction Community Development Corporation, and our vice chair is Tom Kelly. So we are ready to go, and I want to just refresh everybody what the Community Development Corporation actually does. We're a nonprofit 501c3, and our main mission is to work with code compliance and property owners with code cases that cannot comply with our codes due to they're either elderly, mentally or physically unable, financially unable, and veterans, so that we can bring their properties up to our code standards, which of course standardizes property values for everyone in the neighborhoods. It doesn't pay the city to fine these people because they don't have the money to fix their property up, to take things to the dump. They don't have money for fines, they don't have money to clean their properties, and that's where we step in. We're 100% volunteer, and we survive on grants and donations. You can donate on our website, which is Apache Junction, cdc.com, and it's tax deductible. Another mission that we've taken on is the street cleanup on Baseline Road between Ironwood and Tomahawk. That's a heavily traveled road on the way to the landfill, and it picks up a lot of trash along the way. We've had one cleanup there since we adopted that street. We actually had people stop us and thank us for doing the cleanup, which was really pretty amazing. Our second cleanup is not this Saturday, next Saturday, the 27th. We meet just east of Ironwood, right on Baseline, and we start gathering up around 6:30 a.m. We start picking trash up at 7, and we anticipate we should all be done by 9 o'clock. So a fairly short time frame, but very useful in helping just keep the city a little bit more cleaner. Please help us. I only ask for volunteers and money. Real simple, you know, that's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Donna Carr.
So I have a question on the condos. With all this, these carports that's going to be put around. Now, I am opposed to the solar plant that they want to put out by Florence Junction. For one, it's going to have a battery storage, which if it leaks, it'll contaminate the water all the way to Tucson. But where these townhomes are going and all these carports, is there a reason why they can't put solar panels over the top of the carports to help the people who live there cut down on their energy bill? That's one. The other thing is I know that Chief Pooley has brought us out of the dark ages with all the technology stuff that he's brought in. But if he could teach his younger officers that of which the older officers knew, and that's how to treat people like they're people. Not everybody that you approach is a criminal. There's nice people out there. And I appreciate the lady beforehand that spoke before me, because she said that they help people that don't have the money to afford to clean up their properties and stuff like that, because they do need the help out there. Thanks.
Justin Cardwell.
Good evening, Council. I might need help over here with this camera. I do have something to show you. Long story short, here is why I'm here. I'm running into a little bit of a land dispute with my neighbor. It's over some restructuring, some landscaping. I had gotten about $3,000 worth of granite brought in to do as like a topsoil over the land. He decided after agreeing on it initially that he didn't like it. The problem now I'm stuck with is it butts up against an easement. So while it's not really his property, it's also not really mine. And I'm looking for some guidance on what exactly I should do. So again,
I'm not sure if
we're
we
not
can
going
get
to
the
be
camera working
tonight.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We can definitely help at the staff level to help them get with Sydney and the right team.
There's a picture of my problem. So if you want to see it, let me know. It's just kind of awkward. I keep getting bounced back and forth between Pinal County, the city, who can really give me that guidance. So I would appreciate any help I can get. So thank you for your time.
Thank you.
We'll get them with Sydney.
Yep, okay, thank you. Jonna James Markham.
Aloha, Mayor and the rest of the City Council. My name is Noah James Markham, and I reside in Tempe. I would like to talk about law enforcement in Apache Junction as having a disability. I should not be afraid for my life around a police officer. So I ask that kindly that your police officers get more education with people with disabilities. I've been in a few altercations with police officers that should have never happened to me. I also ask that if you guys haven't done yet in Apache Junction, that you guys will add more Section 8 places for people to live in Apache Junction. Another thing I ask, if you don't yet, that we hire more women police officers and firefighters, and make sure if they are going to have a baby, that they get their full time off, which is 8 to 12 weeks paid time off. Even if the man is having a baby with the woman, that he should get time off too. And please pay your firefighters more money. And I ask that you guys build more here. It's like nothing is here in Apache Junction. Thank you for taking this time to listen to me, and mahalo and have a great night.
Any comments from the council?
Mayor,
Yes?
just to clarify, we have nothing to do with the firefighters. They have their own board and own elected officials, so we have nothing to do with their pay or benefits or anything like that.
And on the prior one, I've already commented, we'll get with staff, development services to help out.
Yeah.
That would
Okay.
be great, thank you.
Yeah.
All right. I will adjourn this meeting. Thank you.